ಮನೆ.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात.
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा.
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
Putin squarely blamed Kyiv for the failure of peace negotiations, accusing Ukraine's leadership of refusing dialogue.
Statements from Zelensky that he is not prepared to discuss territory issues. At the moment, we don't see their readiness. I would like to remind where it all began.
Rejecting allegations against Russia, Putin claimed Moscow did not start the war. Putin blames roots of Ukraine conflict lie in 2014 anti-constitutional coup.
We did not start this war. This war began as a result of the anti-constitutional military coup in 2014 and then commencement of the military action against its own citizens in the southeast of Ukraine.
A very good evening. You're watching 6 Stories at 6. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest. Let's see what is for you in this show. CBI will challenge the Delhi High Court's suspension of Sengar's life sentence in the 2017 Unnao rape case. Vadodara hit and kill case accused walks out on bail. Victim's family speaks to Republic expressing shock and grief. Acid attack. All 3 accused walk free as the acid attack survivors' need for justice is not fulfilled. Key opposition leader Tariq Rahman returns from exile. What does this mean for Bangladesh? On Christmas Eve, French goes on a targeting spree at Christmas. And we see that these are the top updates that we're getting for you, Republic TV. All right, moving ahead, a luxury private bus caught fire on the NH48 after ramming with a speeding truck in Chitradurg. 10 burnt alive. All right, the top story tracking right now. The CBI will challenge the Delhi High Court's order granting bail to former MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the Unnao rape case, marking the latest development in one of India's most controversial criminal trials. The agency has moved against the suspension of Sengar's life sentence, raising sharp questions over a fatal car crash. And the battle continues. Here's a quick review of the case.
It's a big impact of Republic's campaign for justice. After massive outrage, the CBI has decided to challenge the Delhi High Court's order granting bail to Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the Unnao rape case.
So at end of the day, what happened? They were released, and because there was some kind of weakness in the charge sheet filed by CBI or in the documents or in the circumstantial evidence and all those things, which definitely was a benefit of doubt when this judgment was pronounced. However, maybe for formality or for the sake or maybe because of the outrage, they think that this is like getting serious, and then now they want to rectify their act. Whichever way, if they do a good job, I think it's good.
The agency will file a special leave petition before the Supreme Court, opposing the suspension of Sengar's life sentence.
Supporting the victim, we are with her. Republic is running this campaign, the petition. We are calling our viewers to file to support the victim so that Kuldeep Sengar should not be released at all in any situation. Although the victim says that she has full faith in the Supreme Court, it is to be seen what happens next in the upcoming days.
The victim's family has also opposed the bail, citing persistent threats and traumatic history linked to the case.
मेरा तो यही कहना है, क्योंकि मैं 23 तारीख को डेट लगी थी, जजमेंट का ऑर्डर आना था और मैं गई थी हाई कोर्ट 46 कोर्ट नंबर में ये जजमेंट होना था और मैं इस जजमेंट से बहुत दुख महसूस कर रही हूँ। मुझे बहुत आहत है। मुझे लगा कि मैं यहीं पे अपना सुसाइड कर लूँ और मर जाऊँ। तो मैंने सोचा मेरे 2 बच्चे हैं, मेरी विकलांग सास है, हस्बैंड है, परिवार है, भाई है, बहन है, ये सब हैं। इसको सोचते हुए हमने सोचा कि जिंदा रह के ही लड़ेंगे, संघर्ष करके ही इंसाफ मिलता है और मरने से तो इंसाफ नहीं मिलेगा। मर जाएंगे उसके बाद में तो कुछ नहीं होगा। मर जाएंगे, जांच होगी, कुछ होगा, होता रहेगा, लेकिन इंसाफ नहीं मिलेगा।
The case dates back to 2017. When the minor victim was allegedly kidnapped and raped by Sengar and his associates. A long fight for justice. The rape convict given a free run, whereas the survivor and her family continue their battle. The CBI's challenge now puts the focus back on whether bail in such cases amounts to justice delayed or justice denied.
But viewers, the Gujarat High Court has granted conditional bail to Rakshit Chaurasia, the law student accused in the Vadodara car crash that killed a woman and injured 7 others on Holy Night earlier this year. The crash, allegedly caused by rash and intoxicated driving, had triggered nationwide outrage after videos of the accused behaving incoherently surfaced online. Now the bail order has sparked deep anguish among the victim's family. The husband of the woman who died on the spot has spoken to Republic TV, expressing grief, anger and shock over the court's decision. Here's more on the story.
The boy brashly screaming another round is Rakshit Chaurasia, a rich brat who, under the influence of drugs, crashed into a two-wheeler.
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round!
Himali Patel died on the spot, while her husband Purav Patel sustained serious injuries. The brat, screaming another round, was also responsible for injuring 7 others, including minors. Months later, the family is dealing with injustice as Rakshit walks free.
Another round! Another round! क्या हुआ? Another round, Nikita!
Betrayed by the system, the family is in disbelief.
वो बेल जो दिया है वो मेरे को ग्रांटेड नहीं है। बेल किस रीज़न पे दिया है? ये बंदे को जिसने मेरी वाइफ की जान ली उसको बेल मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए। और अभी 9 मंथ हो गए, तब से लेके अभी तक कोर्ट में आगे केस बढ़ा ही नहीं है। तो मेरी कोर्ट से भी अपील है और पुलिस से भी अपील है कि ये इस केस पे इसको बेल मिलनी भी नहीं चाहिए और जितना हो सके उतना जल्दी इस केस के ऊपर कार्रवाई शुरू होनी चाहिए और हमको न्याय मिलना चाहिए। हमको इंडियन कोर्ट पे, पुलिस पे, सब पे भरोसा है, बट ये जो हुआ है हमारे फैमिली के साथ, हमारे साथ, वो हमको जरा भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं है। बेल मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए। आक्रोश तो हमें भी बहुत है कि इसको बेल मिली ही कैसे, और मिलनी चाहिए ही नहीं थी, फिर भी मिली तो क्यों मिली? और उसने ड्रग ली थी, ड्रग लेने के बाद 140 की स्पीड पे वो गाड़ी चला रहा था, और कोई भी आए ऐसा हिट एंड रन करके बाद में बेल लेके बाहर निकल जाए तो ये गलत प्रूव होता है पूरे सिस्टम में कि कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है और उसको बेल भी मिल जाती है। तो ये टोटली गलत है। अभी ये इंसिडेंट की वजह से मैं पूरे 6 से 7 महीने तक बेड रेस्ट था। मेरा मेंटली मैं पूरा ब्रेक हो चुका हूँ, फाइनेंशियली बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है, और मेंटली, फिजिकली सभी तरीके से मुझे और मेरे पूरे परिवार को बहुत ही झेलना पड़ा है।
In March, Rakshit Chaurasia was arrested within hours, booked for culpable homicide not amounting to murder and other offences. But today, he is out of prison as a court observed he served his sentence. The public gaze is now on the courts of the country. Question being, is justice only for the super rich?
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round!
Viewers, 16 years, that's how long Shaheen Malik waited for justice. Justice that never came. Attacked with acid in 2009, Shaheen survived unimaginable brutality. Her body scarred, her life altered forever. On Wednesday, the law delivered its final word, acquitting the alleged conspirators, citing gaps in evidence and investigation. Now, while the juvenile the attacker was convicted years ago, those accused of planning the crime walk free. The verdict delivered behind closed doors has reopened old wounds for survivors who never stopped believing in the system. More in this report.
In 2009, a young MBA student from Panipat was attacked with acid. 16 years later, the legal battle ends not with closure, but acquittal. A Delhi court acquitted Yashvinder, Mandeep Man and Bala, who were charged with criminal conspiracy in the acid attack on Shaheen Malik.
ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ शॉर्टी इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, डेलिबरेटली एविडेंस को मिटाया गया है। इसमें 4 एक्यूज थे टोटल, जिसमें कि जो एग्जीक्यूटर था वो जुवेनाइल प्रूव हुआ था और उसका केस जेजेबी में चला था। तो वो जज भी थे कि जिन्होंने विद इन अ ईयर उसको कन्विक्ट कर दिया था, बिना किसी इंटरफेरेंस के उसको कन्विक्ट किया। और वो जो जुवेनाइल था उसका कज़न एडल्ट एक्यूज में से एक है। तो पहली बात तो कि जब 4 लोगों की चेन है, उसमें से जो लास्ट चेन है वो ऑलरेडी कन्विक्ट हो चुकी है, उसे मैंने कोर्ट में आइडेंटिफाई किया है। उसके बाद इन 3 लोगों को कैसे छोड़ दिया गया? मैं अपने 20s में थी जब मैंने ये लड़ाई शुरू की थी, जब एसिड अटैक हुआ था। आज मैं अपने अर्ली 40s में आ चुकी हूँ। मतलब अगर इतना टाइम, तो कौन आएगा जस्टिस लेने के लिए? आउट ऑफ द कोर्ट सेटलमेंट हो जाया करेगी सारे केसेस में। मुझे भी पैसा ऑफ़र किया गया था, करोड़ों रुपीज़ उन्होंने मुझे ऑफ़र किए थे, लेकिन मुझे लगता था कि मुझे पैसा नहीं चाहिए, मुझे सरकारी नौकरी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे कॉम्पनसेशन भी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे सिर्फ जस्टिस चाहिए। जिन लोगों ने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया वो खुले ना घूमें, लेकिन ऐसा हो नहीं पाया। ये जस्टिस देने में मैं कहती हूँ जुडिशरी फेल हो गई।
The court said that the prosecution failed to prove its case, citing insufficient evidence, a faulty and incomplete investigation, and crucially, the absence of the victim's testimony on record. The juvenile, who carried out the acid attack, was convicted in 2015 under IPC Section 326 and 308, but the alleged conspirators walk free.
So, the manipulation of evidence started very early on. As Shaheen rightly said, that the glass which the acid was thrown, the clothes, the vaccine bag which was carrying the glass, they were all collected, but yet they were not deposited in the Malkhana. So that shows, it gives us a very clear definition of how the investigation was taken. It also tells us very clearly that there was a deliberate attempt to save these accused, to not bring into the light what the real evidences were. Keeping this in mind, I surely would say that we are not satisfied with the judgment of the trial court, and our next step will be to have an appeal in the High Court.
The verdict was delivered in camera, from public gaze, but its impact echoed far beyond the courtroom. 16 years after an acid attack scarred her body and life, Shaheen Malik now carries another wound, one inflicted not by acid, but by assistance she waited on for justice.
Viewers, Bangladesh's volatile political landscape has now entered a decisive new phase. Amid deepening unrest and a high-stakes electoral battle ahead, return of a long-absent political heavyweight is reshaping power equations in Dhaka. After spending 17 years in exile, Bangladesh Nationalist Party's acting chairman, Tariq Rahman, has landed back on home soil, a move that has electrified supporters and intensified political tensions. His return comes just months after a dramatic exit of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and at a time when the interim government faces mounting challenges on law and order, governance and minority safety. More on this report.
Amid political crisis in Bangladesh, a moment that could redefine power equations. After 17 long years in exile, Tariq Rahman is back on Bangladeshi soil, setting the stage for a high-stakes political showdown. There were scenes of celebration in Dhaka as thousands of supporters of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party gathered outside the airport, waving banners and chanting slogans to welcome their acting chairman. Rahman, son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, arrived from London with his family, ending a self-imposed exile that began in 2008 amid multiple criminal cases that have been cleared since after last year's political upheaval. Upon landing, Tariq Rahman spoke with Muhammad Yunus. Sharing a video on his Facebook page, Tariq is heard asking about Yunus's health and expressing gratitude for the arrangements surrounding his security. Meanwhile, the BNP has planned a massive show of strength, with the party claiming up to 5 million supporters will join rallies across Dhaka, projecting Rahman as its prime ministerial face ahead of the 12th of February parliamentary elections. Rahman's return comes months after the ouster of longtime Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, whose Awami League has been barred from contesting the polls. The return also comes at a time when Bangladesh's interim administration, led by Muhammad Yunus, is struggling with unrest, following the murder of political activist Osman Hadi and the brutal killing of a Hindu man by extremists. With the BNP widely expected to emerge as the single largest party, Rahman's homecoming is being viewed as a decisive step towards reclaiming power, at a time when governance, law and order, and minority safety are under scrutiny. India is watching developments closely amid growing anti-India rhetoric and concerns that prolonged instability could spill over into regional relations.
It's a very dangerous game that is going on presently in Bangladesh politics. All the parties should have been given opportunity to participate, but Awami League is not being allowed to participate. So how can it be a really representative election? That's my first comment. Secondly, absentee political leaders who have not been in the country for so long, they do not know what the pulse beat of the people is, how people feel and think about the situation. I don't know to what extent the leader will be able to enthuse the crowd and whether the crowd will really give him the opportunity. So it's a big risk they are taking in putting all the expectations on one single individual. Bangladesh needs a lot of divine help, a lot of good sense, and a lot of open-mindedness in case they want that democracy in their country returns. India is really greatly concerned that the present trend of diatribes against India on every and single issue is something which can be very detrimental for our bilateral relations for a long time to come.
Rahman is scheduled to address supporters and begin formal steps to re-enter electoral politics, moves that will test both the BNP's strength and the interim government's ability to ensure calm. As Bangladesh stands at crossroads, Tariq Rahman's homecoming is more than a political return. It is a defining moment that could shape the nation's democratic future.
Viewers, now what you will see on your screens is not a protest. This is vandalism. Across 3 states, Chhattisgarh, Assam and UP, Christmas celebrations come under attack. In Raipur, viewers, miscreants are vandalizing Magneto Mall, destroying festive decorations worth lakhs. In Assam, Christmas preparations at St. Mary's School were ransacked, set on fire. And in Bareilly, protests erupted outside a church days before Christmas. 3 states, one pattern, fringe elements targeting symbols of celebration and places of worship. This is not faith, this is fear-mongering. More in this report.
This is not a riot zone. This is Magneto Mall, Raipur, decked for Christmas, now reduced to debris. Under the cover of a Chhattisgarh Bandh, protesters stormed inside the mall, not to protest policy but to destroy symbols of celebration. Christmas trees uprooted, Santa Claus smashed, festive decor worth rupees 5 lakh destroyed. Mall management says the loss is financial, but the damage is far deeper. And this is Assam's St. Mary's School, a place meant for learning, not intimidation. At St. Mary's School in Nalbari, Christmas preparations were ransacked and set on fire. Members of fringe outfits allegedly stormed the campus, raising religious slogans demanding the removal of statue of Jesus. When school refused, the response was vandalism. Meanwhile, in Uttar Pradesh's Bareilly, similar incident of hatred has come to light. These people reciting religious chants are not sitting in front of a temple but outside a church. Reason to protest not out of faith but out of hatred. A deliberate show of strength at a place of worship during a sacred season. This is not cultural assertion. This is calculated vandalism carried out by fringe groups who thrive on provocation.
The tragic blaze on the highways once again raises troubling questions about passenger safety in the state. At least 10 people lost their lives after a private sleeper bus caught fire following a head-on collision with a lorry on National Highway 48 in Karnataka's Chitradurg district. The bus, carrying around 30 passengers, was traveling to Gokarna through Shivamogga when the accident occurred. Within moments of the collision, the bus was gutted in flames, leaving many passengers trapped with little chance to escape. More in this next report.
A blaze that engulfed many. An accident that claimed 10 lives and raised serious questions on road safety in the state. And And now, in yet another accident of bus fire in Karnataka, a private sleeper bus carrying around 30 passengers caught fire after being hit head-on by a lorry. The private sleeper bus was carrying passengers travelling to Gokarna via Shivamoga when it was hit head-on on the National Highway 48. After the collision, the bus was immediately gutted in fire, flames that engulfed many passengers. But this is not an isolated incident. In October 2025, a deadly bus fire claimed 20 lives. November 2025, Nalgonda, a narrow escape for 29 passengers as sleeper bus caught fire. And this Wednesday again, a bus catches fire in Chitradurga, leaving 20 dead. While condolences pour in and the government announces ex gratia for these families of deceased, the accident in Kurnool puts to fore one major question. Is passenger safety not a priority? Is an ex gratia amount enough compensation for loss of lives?
Viewers, so we have on 6 stories at 6, but do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll go live in breaking next.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
We just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts going on. As we were telling you, usually for the limestone mining, the acceptable range of the blast is around 1 meter. And that won't be so harsh that we could feel this entire mountain, feel shake. Yes, definitely. And the kind of, because for cement mining, they need a blast of a larger range of something around 50 meters or 60 meters, and when that happens, we were not able to show you, but because that is very frequent between 2 to 3 p.m. we'll try to get that on camera for you guys. But while I was speaking to you, I could feel this mountain shake. So that is the range, and all of this is illegal, Shivam. All of this, the range of those blasts which is used in those mining, the kind of trucks that you see on the other end, which are carrying those residual pebbles, those are also they are not legally allowed to sell those, but they're not only doing illegal work, they're also making double profit out of whatever is left here. They're making profit illegally out of the Aravalli Hills, the lungs of the Delhi NCR, the home for several hundreds of people, wildlife, and so much more. As we know that recently the Supreme Court has accepted the new definition of the Aravalli range, where any mountain which is under the height of 100 meters will not be considered as a part of Aravalli range. Now, what will be the repercussions of it? Any
mountain, which is not considered a part of Aravalli range, will be open to construction, will be open to mining. And this Aravalli range, which is more than 2.5 billion years old, also the lungs of the Delhi NCR, protects Delhi NCR from heat wave, from dust, and from letting the situation get even worse, which already is in Delhi NCR with the pollution. We are showing you something which spans...
Another round! Another round! Another round!
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूम देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा सिप।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
Putin squarely blamed Kyiv for the failure of peace negotiations, accusing Ukraine's leadership.
CBI forced to challenge bail to former BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh after Republic campaign. Another petition filed in Supreme Court questioning the suspension of his life sentence.
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round!
Another killer driver on the wheel got granted bail. Court cites his age and grants bail for the Vadodara youth who rammed into 8 people, killing 1. Justice evades Shaheen Malik 16 years after she was attacked with acid. Court cites lack of evidence and acquits 3. A fight continues. Attack on Christmas festivities by the fringe in several cities across India. In Raipur, Nalbari and Bareilly. No case filed, no action taken. Khalida Zia's son returns to Bangladesh after 18 years under heavy security cover. While Awami League is barred from elections, will Tariq Ahmed take over from Yunus in 2026? And Unnao live with the biggest investigation at 9 p.m. tonight. Stand by for the expose of the year on the debate. Good evening, viewers. You're watching Live and Breaking. I'm Rakshita Mishra with you. We shift our focus to Vadodara hit-and-run case, hit-and-kill case, where the Gujarat High Court granted bail to 23-year-old law student Rakshit Chaurasia, who was accused in this hit-and-kill case. Had happened on the 13th of March. It killed 1 person
as he rammed into 7 people. Considering Chaurasia's plea that he had no antecedents and was a student, the court says that the application needs to be considered, as he had been in jail for 9 months now. Here's what happened that night.
मेरा कुछ नहीं है, वो चला रहा है। Another round, another round, another round, another round. मेरा कुछ नहीं है, वो चला रहा है। Another round, another round, another round, another round.
The Republic TV also spoke to Purab Patel, who's husband of Himali Patel, who died in this tragic hit-and-kill case in March this year, as he questions the Gujarat High Court's bail order. Listen in.
वो बेल जो दिया है वो मेरे को ग्रांटेड नहीं है। बेल किस रीजन पे दिया है? ये बंदे को जिसने मेरी वाइफ की जान ली उसको बेल मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए। और अभी 9 मंथ हो गए, तब से लेके अभी तक कोर्ट में आगे केस बढ़ा ही नहीं है। तो मेरी कोर्ट से भी अपील है और पुलिस से भी अपील है कि ये इस केस पे इसको बेल मिलनी भी नहीं चाहिए और जितना हो सके उतना जल्दी इस केस के ऊपर कार्रवाई शुरू होनी चाहिए और हमको न्याय मिलना चाहिए। हमको इंडियन कोर्ट पे, पुलिस पे, सब पे भरोसा है, बट ये जो हुआ है हमारे फैमिली के साथ, हमारे साथ, वो हमको जरा भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं है। बेल मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये दुखी करता है, ये बिल्कुल बहुत दुखी करता है कई मायनों में। लेकिन आपको नहीं लगता कि कुछ लोग इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, कुछ लोग जो पावरफुल लोग होते हैं, पैसे वाले रसूखदार होते हैं, आपको लगता है कि ये केस भी उधर ही जा रहा है? क्योंकि जो आर्ग्यूमेंट दिया गया कि भाई पहले इसका कोई ऐसा रिकॉर्ड नहीं है, ये स्टूडेंट है, अगर स्टूडेंट है तो फिर नशा करके गाड़ी क्यों चला रहा था, ये भी तो एक प्रश्न उठता है। तो आप मतलब परिवार का क्या रिएक्शन है, वो आक्रोश जो आपके मन में है, आप खुल के अपनी बात को रखिएगा पूरब जी।
आक्रोश तो हमारे मन में बहुत है सर, पर हम भी कोर्ट पे ही डिपेंड कर सकते हैं। आक्रोश तो हमें भी बहुत है कि इसको बेल मिली ही कैसे, और मिलनी चाहिए ही नहीं थी, फिर भी मिली तो क्यों मिली? और उसने ड्रग ली थी, ड्रग लेने के बाद 140 की स्पीड पे वो गाड़ी चला रहा था, और कोई भी आए ऐसा हिट एंड रन करके बाद में बेल लेके बाहर निकल जाए तो ये गलत प्रूव होता है पूरे सिस्टम में कि कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है और उसको बेल भी मिल जाती है। तो ये टोटली गलत है। अभी ये इंसिडेंट की वजह से मैं पूरे 6 से 7 महीने तक बेड रेस्ट था। मेरा मेंटली मैं पूरा ब्रेक हो चुका हूँ, फाइनेंशियली बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है, और मेंटली फिजिकली सभी तरीके से मुझे और मेरे पूरे परिवार को बहुत ही झेलना पड़ा है। और हमारे साथ हम दोनों के साथ दूसरे 5 से 6 जन को ये सब हॉस्पिटल, कोर्ट केस, वो सब बहुत माइंड पे बहुत असर करता है सर।
मैं समझ सकता हूं क्या मानसिक स्थिति से आपका पूरा परिवार जो है वो इस वक्त गुजर रहा होगा। इट्स वेरी शॉकिंग, वेरी डिसहार्टनिंग। एक प्रश्न मेरा आपसे, अब आगे आप क्या रुख इख्तियार करेंगे? अगला क्या आप लीगल स्टेप करेंगे? क्या आप इसको चैलेंज करने वाले हैं? और मुख्य प्रश्न ये भी है, क्या आपको धमकियां मिल रही हैं, कोई थ्रेट्स आपको मिल रहे हैं? रसूखदार परिवार है वो।
अभी तक तो ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं है सर, इन फ्यूचर क्या हो मालूम नहीं।
ठीक है,
हमारा इतना ही बोलना है कि बेल मिलनी ही नहीं चाहिए। ये केस में और किसी और केस में बेल मिलनी ही नहीं चाहिए। जो भी एक्यूज हो, जो जिसने भी किया है उसको बेल मिलनी नहीं चाहिए। बेल नहीं मिलेगी तो एक मार्क सेट होगा कि आप कोई भी गलत काम करोगे तो अपना इंडियन लॉ है वो आप पे सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करेगा ही करेगा। अभी जो बिल मिला है उसके हिसाब से हमको एक्सेप्ट नहीं है।
पूरब, ये बहुत बुरा प्रभाव पड़ता है, मतलब जब ऐसा एक्सीडेंट होता है। मैं समझ सकता हूं किस स्थिति से आप इस वक्त गुजर रहे होंगे और क्या और अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहें, कोई संदेश आप देना चाहें।
ये न्यूज सुनने के बाद मेरे को 2 दिन से नींद नहीं आ रही है सर। इतना मेंटली इतना ब्रेक हो चुका हूं मैं, ये एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं।
And with that, a quick look at the other stories making news from across the country. This is Bharat in a minute. Now, the Kerala's government has reportedly spent 4 crore rupees on the Chief Minister's helicopter travel. Pinarayi Vijayan has faced criticism for that. State already under fiscal strain. Rao Danishali, a teacher at the ABK School of Aligarh Muslim University, was shot dead by unidentified assailants on the campus, triggering panic among students and staff. University proctor recalled the information that he received about the incident. It occurred near the library, saying that Rao Danishali was shot in the head. Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined the Christmas celebrations at the Cathedral Church of the Redemption in Delhi early today. Carols, hymns and a special prayer for the Prime Minister and the country was performed by the Bishop of the church. Churches across the valley in Kashmir were decked up as the Christians celebrated the birth of Jesus Christ on the occasion of Christmas. Several members of the Muslim community too joined the celebration. Father Paul, pastor at one of the churches, said that different communities work together for the betterment of society. Now, a Delhi court acquitted 3 people 16 years after they were charged with criminal conspiracy in a 2009 acid attack. Additional Sessions Judge Jagmohan Singh acquitted Yashwinder, Mandeep Man and Bala, citing a lack of evidence. The 3 were accused of conspiring with a juvenile to carry out an acid attack on Panipat MBA student Shaheen Malik. And just earlier today, we spoke to the survivor and a lawyer. Listen into the conversation.
इनके ऊपर एक्यूजेशन था और अब बहुत ही कन्वीनियंटली जज ने ये बोल दिया है कि इनके पास एविडेंस नहीं है। इतने सालों बाद जो चीज़ 2009 में हुई थी, इतने सालों बाद अब हमें पता चल रहा है कि इसमें एविडेंस नहीं है, जिसके चलते इन तीनों को रिहाई मिल गई है।
देखिए, इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ शॉर्टी इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, डेलिबरेटली एविडेंस को मिटाया गया है। इसमें 4 एक्यूज थे टोटल, जिसमें कि जो एग्जीक्यूटर था वो जुवेनाइल प्रूव हुआ था और उसका केस जेजेबी में चला था। तो वो जज भी थे कि जिन्होंने विद इन अ ईयर उसको कन्विक्ट कर दिया था, बिना किसी इंटरफेरेंस के उसको कन्विक्ट किया। और वो जो जुवेनाइल था उसका कजन एडल्ट एक्यूज में से एक है। तो पहली बात तो कि जब 4 लोगों की चेन है, उसमें से जो लास्ट चेन है वो ऑलरेडी कन्विक्ट हो चुकी है, उसे मैंने कोर्ट में आइडेंटिफाई किया है। उसके बाद इन 3 लोगों को कैसे छोड़ दिया गया? क्योंकि इन्हीं की स्टेटमेंट पर वो लड़का सामने आया था जिसको मैंने कोर्ट में आइडेंटिफाई किया। तो मतलब इसको तो जस्ट इग्नोर किया गया है, मुझे लगता है मेरी स्टेटमेंट को। मेरी सारी स्टेटमेंट में मैंने सारे एक्यूज के नाम लिए हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कोई रिकवरी नहीं है। जुवेनाइल जस्टिस के जो जजमेंट था उसमें ये कहा गया है, जब पुलिस से जो एसआई रामफल थे उनसे ये पूछा गया कि आपने कपड़े ग्लास सब सीज किया, तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ मैंने सीज किया, पर ऑन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द एसएचओ मैंने उसे मालखाना में डिपॉजिट नहीं किया। तो रिकवरी भी थी पर डेलिबरेटली उसको करा नहीं गया। तो मेरी तरफ से कहाँ कमी रह गई? एविडेंस थे, सब नजरअंदाज किया गया है। मुझे लगता है मेरा केस बहुत स्ट्रांग है, लेकिन अगर जज मुझे जस्टिस देना ही नहीं चाहते हैं तो कितना भी स्ट्रांग केस हो, कितना भी स्ट्रांग लॉयर हो, आपको जस्टिस नहीं मिलेगा।
बिल्कुल जी, आपने एक बहुत बड़ी बात बोली है यहाँ पे। आपने ये भी कहा है कि हो सकता है प्रूफ को, जो हमारे पास एविडेंस था, जो कोर्ट के पास एविडेंस था, उसको डेलिबरेटली मिटाया गया है। अब आप क्या स्टेप लेंगी? क्या आप इसको एक रिव्यू पिटीशन फाइल करेंगी? क्या आप इस चीज़ को चैलेंज करेंगी कोर्ट में जाके?
देखो, वैसे तो मैं 16 साल से लड़ रही हूँ और मैं अपने 20s में थी जब मैंने ये लड़ाई शुरू की थी, जब एसिड अटैक हुआ था। आज मैं अपने अर्ली 40s में आ चुकी हूँ। मतलब अगर इतना टाइम, तो कौन आएगा जस्टिस लेने के लिए? आउट ऑफ द कोर्ट सेटलमेंट हो जाया करेगी सारे केसेस में। मुझे भी पैसा ऑफर किया गया था, करोड़ों रुपीस उन्होंने मुझे ऑफर किए थे, लेकिन मुझे लगता था कि मुझे पैसा नहीं चाहिए, मुझे सरकारी नौकरी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे कॉम्पनसेशन भी नहीं चाहिए, मुझे सिर्फ जस्टिस चाहिए। जिन लोगों ने मेरे साथ ऐसा किया वो खुले ना घूमे, लेकिन ऐसा हो नहीं पाया। ये जस्टिस देने में मैं कहती हूँ जुडिशरी फेल हो गई है। जो CJI ने कहा था अभी दिसंबर में जब मैंने PIL फाइल की थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कि ये सिस्टम के लिए मौकरी है।
In other news now, the US Justice Department has revealed a major update in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Over 1 million new documents have been uncovered, delaying the full release of the Epstein files. Lawyers are now working round the clock to review and redact sensitive information before making the records public.
Manhattan prosecutors and the FBI have uncovered over 1 million new documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. Lawyers are reviewing the files to redact victims' identities, a process that may take several weeks.
They're not required to release a list of what they're not releasing, and that's where the problems arise, and that's where the suspicion would continue to grow, because we don't know what we don't know about the documents that were kept back. And so it's up to the Department of Justice. It's basically the honor system saying, okay, these materials relate to victims, so they're kept back. These materials relate to ongoing prosecution, so they're kept back. But again, it's up to the people who are making those decisions to say whether or not those exceptions follow the law. So it's not going to reassure a lot of people that this has been done scrupulously and appropriately, because there's going to be so much material that's not being released, so much material that's redacted, that it's certainly going to feed suspicions that something's going on.
Earlier releases included interviews, court recordings, call logs, and photographs, many heavily redacted.
Just put out the files and stop redacting names that don't need to be redacted. It's just, who are we trying to protect? Are we protecting the survivors, or are we protecting these elite men that need to be put out there? And people need to know these are predators that are in the files. They need to be brought to justice so they can stop doing this in the long run. You know, it's for everyone's safety at the end of the day.
Some documents contain false and sensational claims against former President Trump, which Department of Justice says were unverified and could have been weaponized politically. Among the releases was a letter purportedly from Epstein to Larry Nassar, which the FBI confirmed is fake, postmarked 3 days after Epstein's death. The staggered release and delays have prompted a bipartisan call from Congress for an Inspector General audit, demanding full disclosure to protect victims and uphold transparency.
In the Unnao rape case, the victim is fighting 8 years on against Kuldeep Singh. In Vadodara, the youth who shouted another round, high on drugs, rammed into 8, killed 1, out on bail. And in the 2009 Panipat acid attack case, the court says there is no evidence against the 3 acid attackers. 3 orders in public gaze. The victims, the survivors. Join us live on This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m. tonight.
There's deep political uncertainty in Bangladesh, but today a major development took place as Tariq Ahmed, who's the son of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh Khaleda Zia and is the chairperson, acting chairman of BNP, returned after 17 long years of exile. He was back in Dhaka with heavy security cover. With the Awami League barred from the upcoming elections in Bangladesh, is Tariq going to take over from Yunus in the next elections? Well, here's more on that.
Amid political crisis in Bangladesh, a moment that could redefine power equations. After 17 long years in exile, Tariq Rahman is back on Bangladeshi soil, setting the stage for a high-stakes political showdown. There were scenes of celebration in Dhaka as thousands of supporters of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party gathered outside the airport, waving banners and chanting slogans to welcome their acting chairman. Rahman, son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, arrived from London with his family, ending a self-imposed exile that began in 2008 amid multiple criminal cases that have been cleared since after last year's political upheaval. Upon landing, Tariq Rahman spoke with Muhammad Yunus. Sharing a video on his Facebook page, Tariq is heard asking about Yunus's health and expressing gratitude for the arrangements surrounding his security. Meanwhile, the BNP has planned a massive show of strength, with the party claiming up to 5 million supporters will join rallies across Dhaka, projecting Rahman as its prime ministerial face ahead of the 12th of February parliamentary elections. Rahman's return comes months after the ouster of longtime Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, whose Awami League has been barred from contesting the polls. The return also comes at a time when Bangladesh's interim administration, led by Muhammad Yunus, is struggling with unrest, following the murder of political activist Osman Hadi and the brutal killing of a Hindu man by extremists. With the BNP widely expected to emerge as the single largest party, Rahman's homecoming is being viewed as a decisive step towards reclaiming power, at a time when governance, law and order, and minority safety are under scrutiny. India is watching developments closely amid growing anti-India rhetoric and concerns that prolonged instability could spill over into regional relations.
It's a very dangerous game that is going on presently in Bangladesh politics. All the parties should have been given opportunity to participate, but Awami League is not being allowed to participate. So how can it be a really representative election? That's my first comment. Secondly, absentee political leaders who have not been in the country for so long, they do not know what the pulse beat of the people is, how people feel and think about the situation. I don't know to what extent the leader will be able to enthuse the crowd and whether the crowd will really give him the opportunity. So it's a big risk they are taking and putting all the expectations on one single individual. Bangladesh needs a lot of divine help, a lot of good sense, and a lot of open-mindedness in case they want that democracy in their country returns. India is really greatly concerned that the present trend of diatribes against India on every and single issue is something which can be very detrimental for our bilateral relations for a long time to come.
Rahman is scheduled to address supporters and begin formal steps to re-enter electoral politics, moves that will test both the BNP's strength and the interim government's ability to ensure calm. As Bangladesh stands at crossroads, Tariq Rahman's homecoming is more than a political return. It is a defining moment that could shape the nation's democratic future.
The spirit of Christmas revives in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, as fragile peace remains in Gaza. Also, we bring you how the fringe groups have attacked festivities in several Indian cities. We get you the reaction of Rohit Sharma as he is trolled with a vada pav offer at the stadium. All that and more on Trending with me, Rakshita, at 7:30 p.m.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड। दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
We just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts going on. As we were telling you, usually for the limestone mining, the acceptable range of the blast is around 1 meter. And that won't be so harsh that we could feel this entire mountain, feel shake. Yes, definitely. And the kind of, because for cement mining, they need a blast of a larger range of something around 50 meters or 60 meters, and when that happens, we were not able to show you, but because that is very frequent between 2 to 3 p.m. we'll try to get that on camera for you guys. But while I was speaking to you, I could feel this mountain shake. So that is the range, and all of this is illegal, Shivam. All of this, the range of those blasts which is used in those mining, the kind of trucks that you see on the other end, which are carrying those residual pebbles, those are also they are not legally allowed to sell those, but they're not only doing illegal work, they're also making double profit out of whatever is left here. They're making profit illegally out of the Aravalli Hills, the lungs of the Delhi NCR, the home for several hundreds of people, wildlife, and so much more. As we know that recently the Supreme Court has accepted the new definition of the Aravalli range, where any mountain which is under the height of 100 meters will not be considered as a part of Aravalli range. Now, what will be the repercussions of it? Any mountain which is not considered a part of Aravalli range will be open to construction, will be open to mining, and this Aravalli range, which is more than 2.5 billion years old, also the lungs of the Delhi NCR, protects Delhi NCR from heat wave, from dust, and from letting the situation get even worse, which already is in Delhi NCR with the pollution. We are showing you something which spans far before this entire decision, which is of a time when this decision was nowhere to be seen, which was not expected. But clearly this was expected by the authorities, because we are showing you the ranges. Let us make you understand. Now, as you see on the other end, that is a mountain in another village, and according to the locals here, this mountain where you can see me standing was also of the same height, but it was actually chopped down, it was actually cut and
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी
मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
Putin squarely blamed Kyiv for the failure of peace negotiations, accusing Ukraine's leadership of refusing dialogue.
Statements from Zelensky that he is not prepared to discuss territory issues. At the moment, we don't see their readiness. I would like to remind where it all began.
Rejecting allegations against Russia, Putin claimed Moscow did not start the war. Putin blames roots of Ukraine conflict lie in 2014 anti-constitutional coup.
We did not start this war. This war began as a result of the anti-constitutional military coup in 2014 and then commencement of the military action against its own citizens in the southeast of Ukraine.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on Republic TV, ladies and gentlemen, on This Is Exclusive. All of the last 1 week, we've been getting you cases where the courts have come under scrutiny. We've had the Sengar case, the Kuldeep Singh case, where after 8 years, sentence suspended, the survivor back on the streets, knocking on the doors of the Supreme Court now, as he's granted bail. And today you have a case from Vadodara, Gujarat, where a 23-year-old rammed into 9 people. He's been granted bail. The court says he's 23-year-old. He's got no antecedents. And the family of the victim is asking for justice. There are several cases in the recent past, and we are going to talk about it on the show. In fact, some of the victims are joining us in the course of the show tonight. Here are the headlines. After Republic raises Kuldeep Singh case, the CBI has been forced to challenge
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round!
Another killer driver on the wheel granted bail. Court cites his age, grants bail for the Vadodara youth who rammed into 8 people, killing 1 in March this year. Justice evades Shaheen Malik 16 years after she was attacked with acid. Court cites lack of evidence, acquits 3. Her fight continues. Attack on Christmas festivities by the fringe in several cities across India. In Raipur, Nalbari, Bareilly, no case filed, no action taken. Khalida's son returns to Bangladesh after 18 years under league banned. Will he now take over from Yunus in 2026 elections? And Arnab live with the biggest investigation at 9 p.m. tonight. Stand by for the expose of the year. It's on the debate tonight. Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Developments in at least 3 cases in the last few days have turned the lens on some of the judgments that have come out, and the scrutiny is now on court orders. In fact, it's the victims who are openly questioning these court orders. In Vadodara in March this year, a 23-year-old Rakshit Chaurasia, who rammed into 9 people, he plowed into 9 people, 1 person died, was killed, and he's been granted bail. The court has said that the offense is serious, but he's got no antecedents, and that he has to be granted bail. He can be released. And in the case of Kuldeep Singh Sengar, a BJP MLA, a former BJP MLA, was a BJP MLA when he was arrested. His sentence was suspended. The victim is knocking on the doors of the Supreme Court now. The matter has once again gone back to the court. And in the case of Shaheen Malik, an acid attack victim, for 16 years she's been fighting. Her attackers, 3 of them, have been acquitted, citing lack of evidence. And in all these 3 cases, they are asking the courts, where is the justice? Let me start first up with Siddharth Luthra, who's joining us live, senior advocate. Siddharth Luthra is joining us along with Purav Patel. Purav Patel is the husband of the victim, one of the victims who was plowed by Rakshit Chaurasia in Vadodara. In fact, Mr. Luthra, with your permission, I'll just get in a question with Purav. Purav was a victim himself. He was there in Gujarat. So I'd like you to just hear him for 1 minute, and then we'll go across to Mr. Luthra. Purav ji, March mein humne cover ki thi. What happened with you? What happened with your family? We covered it, right? In fact, what we remember is immediately after the crash, he kept shouting another round, another round. The next morning he came out. In fact, he was paraded by the police. He lied saying he was not under any influence, right? I remember that. He was paraded by the police. He gave sound bites to the media when the case became national focus. And today, he's been granted bail, right? We've spoken about the Pune Porsche case, very similar to your story. What happened to your wife? You lost your wife in this particular accident. आपको क्या कहना है आज पूरव?
सर, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो यही कहना है कि बेल ग्रांट होनी ही नहीं चाहिए. कोई भी बेस हो, बेल ग्रांट होनी ही नहीं चाहिए. जब तक उसको सजा नहीं होती तब तक बेल ग्रांट होनी ही नहीं चाहिए. और मेरी वाइफ ऑन द स्पॉट उधर ही उसकी डेथ हो गई थी. और मैं खुद 3 दिन के लिए डॉक्टर ने मेरे को बोला था कि क्रिटिकल कंडीशन है लाइफ और डेथ के बीच में मेरी, और उसके बाद पूरा 6 से 7 महीना मैं जो ट्रॉमा से गुजरा हूँ वो मैं एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकता, इतना सारा ट्रॉमा था सर। और मेरे बॉडी पे टोटली 5 से 6 ऑपरेशंस हुए। तो इतना सारा अगर कि कोई बंदे के साथ होता है तो उसको जस्टिस मिलना ही चाहिए। और ऐसे लोग जो ड्रग एडिक्ट होते हैं और ऐसा ड्राइविंग करते हैं तो उनको तो 110% बेल मिलनी ही नहीं चाहिए। बस मेरा यही कोर्ट से यानी अपने लॉ से, पुलिस से और अपनी गवर्नमेंट से सबसे यही गुजारिश है कि इसकी बेल पहले कैंसिल की जाए और जितना हो सके उतना जल्दी ये केस को ऑन बोर्ड करके उस पर कार्रवाई शुरू की जाए।
पूरव जी हमारे साथ बने रहिए, बिकॉज सिद्धार्थ लूथरा सीनियर एडवोकेट है, ही इज सीनियर एडवोकेट इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट है, उनसे पूछता हूँ। Mr. Luthra, we've had several cases in the last few days alone here on Republic. Of course, you would have known and seen what the courts observed while granting bail and suspending the sentence of Kuldeep Singh. And in the case of Purav Patel, he himself...
Talk about Mr. Patel. Let's talk about Mr. Patel first.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it one by one.
Sure.
And let's speak, because right now you're dealing with somebody in anguish. Let's deal with him first.
Sure. So, you have any... Can I get your views, sir, on his case?
Yeah, I will give you my views. First of all, Patel साहब ने एक बहुत समझदारी की चीज और उलझी हुई चीज की कि केस चलना चाहिए. He's absolutely right. केस चलना चाहिए. इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी को केस चलाना चाहिए, प्रोसिक्यूशन को केस चलाना चाहिए. इसमें मैं इनसे कंप्लीट मैं सहमत हूँ. I agree with him completely. The second thing is, आप लोग कह रहे हैं कि कानून में बेल नहीं होनी चाहिए. Bail should not be granted. The fact is, Parliament has enacted earlier the CRPC, now the BNSS. The BNSS provides for parameters of grant of bail. Courts act based on those parameters. Either you remove the provision of bail completely, take it out of the statute book. If you remove the provision, if once you are prosecuted, you should not get bail, then it's a different matter. But once Parliament provides for a bail and the judges apply those parameters, those have to be considered. If the judge has wrongly applied the parameters, Mr. Patel is right. State will challenge it or he will challenge it and the order will be set aside. But if it is rightly applied and there are various parameters, delays, etc. Remember one thing, prior to BNSS, the offence of rash and negligent act leading to death and accidental death was punishable with 2 years. It was a bailable offence. BNSS makes it non-bailable. That is the reason for 5 months or so custody. But the fact of the matter is, Parliament allows the judge the discretion to grant bail if the judge feels that it falls within the set parameters of grant of bail. That may be delay in trial, maybe age, maybe the fact of presumption of innocence. All of these are provided by law. यहाँ तो अब लॉ जब तक है तो बेल ग्रांट होगी. हाँ, ये जरूर है कि केस जल्दी चलना चाहिए, उससे मैं इनसे सहमत हूं.
सर, अभी कोर्ट ने जो उसको बेल दिया है उसमें ऐसा मेंशन किया है कि 23 इयर्स का है. एक रीजन है
साहब, मैंने ऑर्डर देखा नहीं, मैं कह नहीं सकता. मुझे बुलाया गया था टू गिव एन ओपिनियन ऑन बेल. ना रिपब्लिक वालों ने मुझे ऑर्डर आपका दिखाया. अगर देखा होता तो मैं जरूर आपको अपनी सलाह दे सकता कि सही है कि गलत.
Sir, I in fact, Purav ji, I would like to tell Mr. Luthra, sir, I would just like to quote what the court has said. In fact, while granting bail,
sir, I'm not going to respond without seeing the entire order. This piecemeal business is something which I, as a professional, feel is inappropriate and unethical. That you give me one line, I give a response. That's not fair to the system.
So, can I ask you a question, Mr. Luthra? In that case, okay. So, my question to you now: increasingly, people are asking question of the courts. Some of the verdicts, I mean...
People are not, sir. People are not. You people do it.
No, victims are asking, sir. People like Purav Patel.
Sir, victims have a right. They have a right to go to court and challenge it. There is a remedy. The Constitution and the law provides a remedy. The question today is, all of us don't necessarily understand. People are not experts in law. There is anguish. Victims' rights are now clearly defined, which were not so earlier. I've been for many years advocating, and now victims' rights are completely defined. So the victim has a right to be heard at the stage of bail. The victim has a right to challenge the bail order. The victim has a right to challenge an unfair acquittal. All these rights are available to a victim. And if courts are going to be right, courts are going to be wrong, but there is a hierarchy of courts. And today, what is important is that Mr. Patel, if he is aggrieved, and if he is rightly aggrieved by the order, he should challenge the order and should do it at the earliest. And if it is wrong, I'm confident that the higher courts will give him relief.
Okay. Thank you, Siddharth Luthra. And Puravji, we'll talk to you again at 8 o'clock. Puravji, looking forward to having you on the debate as well. Thank you, Mr. Luthra, for your time. This evening, I'm getting in some breaking news on This Is Exclusive. There's been another killing of a Hindu in Bangladesh. A Hindu called Amrit Mondal. We're getting in more details from Dhaka. Story breaking in from Dhaka. The details are now trickling into our newsroom. A Hindu called Amrit Mondal, alias Samrat, 29 years old, beaten to death on charges of extortion in Rajbari, Bangladesh. The attack took place around 11 p.m. last night. Panksha Model Police Station officer in charge has confirmed this morning that Amrit Mondal was killed, saying that Amrit Mondal was in fact lynched. Those are pictures of Amrit Mondal that we're getting in. Amrit Mondal alias Samrat. He was the head of the Samrat Bahini unit in Bangladesh. He's the son of Akshay Mondal. And these are some details that we're picking up. It's the second killing of a Hindu in the last few days in Bangladesh. Minorities increasingly being targeted by radicals in Bangladesh. This is the second case that's come to light. The Yunus government has dragged its feet in the case of Deepu Chandra. Following international condemnation, was forced to act. And we're getting in details now that a second Hindu, Amrit Mondal, has been lynched in Rajbari. Details being broken by Republic TV. We'll keep a close track on the story. Deepu Das was lynched a few days back in Mimin Singh, and Amrit Mondal now killed in Rajbari. Kishale is joining us with the details. Kishale.
Well, exactly. Another brutal incident where a Hindu man was lynched in public. The incident happened on Wednesday around 11 p.m. What happened was this man was targeted. Everyone was forced to believe by a section of that crowd that this man was a robber. He was extorting money, and he was a robber who needs to be beaten up. And the crowd took up the matter in their own hand, like in the case of Deepu Das. They killed him and they celebrated that murder in the same way Amrit Mondal's murder was also celebrated. On the other hand, it's alleged by the section of radicals that it was actually Amrit Mondal who was engaged in extortion, and that is the reason that the people of that area became angry and beat him to death. That is the reason given by the radicals. The police is saying they are right now investigating the matter. 2 people have been arrested in the matter. 3 more has been detained according to sources. We are not confirmed about that yet. But yeah, another incident of a Hindu man being lynched on unproven charges against him. In this case, a robber. He's called an extortionist, and then he is murdered in public around 11 p.m. on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you for joining us. With those details, we're keeping a close track. Amrit Mondal, another Hindu killed in Bangladesh as Hindus come under attack. It's a concerning issue. Confirms what we here at Republic have been saying, that Hindus are not safe in Bangladesh. After Deepu Das, there's a second case of a lynching of a Hindu man. Keeping a close track on that story. Ladies and gentlemen, another story on This Is Exclusive this evening that we are focusing on. India is trying to strengthen the Siliguri corridor, often referred to as the Chicken's Neck. There is a plan to build an army camp in Kishanganj in Bihar. We are fortifying the Chicken's Neck. There is a strengthening of our posture along the Bangladesh border, particularly around the Chicken's Neck. And this 60-kilometer long corridor links India to the entire northeast. And India has already established 3 new military bases in West Bengal, Bihar, Assam to fortify this corridor. And defense authorities are exploring the possibility of a 4th army base near the India-Bangladesh boundary. But some in our opposition have a problem with that. An AIMIM MLA, also backed by the Congress in Bihar, has questioned the idea of building an army camp there. Here's what he says.
जो समस्या है अभी जो आर्मी कैंप बनना है आपका सकौर में, बहादुरगंज प्रखंड और कोचाधवन प्रखंड के बॉर्डर में, तो हम लोग चाह रहे हैं कि वहाँ नहीं बने, क्योंकि वहाँ जो भी खेत को लगभग 200 एकड़ को जो ये किया गया है, नपाई किया गया है, उसका बनना है, तो हम लोग चाहते हैं कि वहाँ नहीं बने, क्योंकि वहाँ खेती होता है और ये सरकार का नियम है कि जहाँ खेती होता है वहाँ कोई चीज़ नहीं बनना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर वहाँ बन जाता है आर्मी कैंप तो हमारा जो किसान है भूखे मर जाएंगे। तो हम लोग चाहते हैं कि वहाँ आर्मी कैंप नहीं बने। हम लोग दोनों भाई गए थे, दोनों विधायक गए थे, समस्या लेकर हम लोग लिखित आवेदन दिए हैं कि मेडिकल कॉलेज जो बने किशनगंज में वो पाटकोई में बने और जो आर्मी कैंप बनने वाला है उसको रद्द किया जाए, यही मांग लेके हम लोग मिले।
सर सुरक्षा भी तो जरूरी है ना, जो आर्मी कैंप बन रहा है।
नहीं, सुरक्षा में कहाँ हम कहते हैं कि नहीं बने, सुरक्षा भी हो और क्या कहते हैं कि आप सब नागरिक का सुरक्षा दीजिए, पूरा देश का सुरक्षा हो, हम भी चाहते हैं, हम भी हिंदुस्तानी हैं भाई, हम तो बाहर के हैं नहीं, तो हम पहले खाएंगे तब ना सुरक्षा लेंगे। हम भूखे रहेंगे और सुरक्षा हम मांगेंगे तो नहीं होगा ना। हम पहले भूखे हैं, पहले हमारा पेट भर जाए, उसके बाद सुरक्षा का मांग करेंगे।
In fact, it's interesting. Here he doesn't mention it when speaking to the media, but there is also a letter written to the Deputy Chief Minister where they confirm that in this land which they are blocking the army camp, they don't want the army camp to come up there. They claim that there is religious interest there because there are madrasas and that there are schools, etc. And they say there are mosques there, and that is why they don't want an army camp to be built around it. But here is why it becomes extremely critical. When you look at the Siliguri corridor, now this is the Chicken's Neck here, this very narrow piece of land that connects India, the mainland, to the northeast. Now this is the Chicken's Neck, and that is why it's extremely important to have that 4th army camp. Now, where are these army camps? Let's show you the next map on the wall. West Bengal, we have a military base. There is a military base in Bihar. There is a military base in Assam, and Mizoram, another military base being planned. Now, there is a plan to construct an army camp in Kishanganj. Some in the AIMIM seem to have a problem. In fact, we are waiting for the AIMIM MLA to join us. We have told that Tausif Alam is joining us. He was supposed to join us live. Is he on the phone line? Tausif ji, आप हैं? आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ, आपका आवाज सुन रहे हैं, बोल रहे।
हाँ जी, तो तौसीफ जी हमें ये बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को कि प्रॉब्लम क्या है आर्मी कैंप कंस्ट्रक्ट करने में किशनगंज?
नहीं, आप लोग गलत रिमर फैला रहे हैं। आर्मी कैंप से हम लोगों को कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। आर्मी हमारा देश का शान है, आन है, बान है। आर्मी कैंप बने मेरा क्षेत्र में, लेकिन वहां जो फसल का जमीन है उसमें ना बने। बिहार सरकार का जमीन हजारों बीघा पड़ा हुआ है, बिहार सरकार का जमीन, या फिर वहां से 1-2 किलोमीटर आगे पीछे बने ताकि जो फसल का जमीन है वो बच जाए। 1000 किसान वहां बर्बाद हो जाएगा, भूखे मर जाएगा, उसका जिम्मेदार कौन है?
एक मिनट वहां पे ओके, एक मिनट। ऐसा नहीं है कि क्या ये लैंड लिया जाएगा और कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं देंगे ना, ऑब्वियसली वो भी देखा जाएगा। और आपका एक लेटर के बारे में बातचीत कल चल रहा है और मेरे पास थोड़ा डिटेल्स है। आपने क्या कोई लेटर लिखा है बिहार सरकार में? बिहार डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर को आपने एक लेटर चिट्ठी लिखी है आपने तौसीफ जी?
हाँ, उसमें हम लोग यही आपत्ति दिए हैं कि वहाँ किसान का जमीन है।
ना, उसमें आपने ये भी लिखा है, लाइन नंबर 5, 5वीं लाइन पे आपने ये लिखा है कि उसमें ये लैंड, प्रपोज्ड लैंड कनेक्टेड टू ईदगाह, the proposed land is connected to mosques, graveyards, residential settlements. These are centers of religious faith. आपने लिखा है चिट्ठी में?
उसमें आप देखिएगा तो ईदगाह भी आएगा, कब्रिस्तान भी आएगा, मंदिर भी आएगा, वो सब हम दर्शाए हैं उसमें। ये बात सही है, लेकिन किसान का जमीन, ज्यादातर किसान का जमीन है उसमें,
और जानते हैं किसी का 5 कट्ठा है, किसी का 10 कट्ठा है, किसी का 2 बीघा है, किसी का 5 बीघा है, किसी का 10 बीघा है। इसी तरह
नहीं, अगर लैंड का कॉम्पेंसेशन दिया जा रहा है और आप बोल रहे हैं शायद 200, आपने बोला 200 फार्मर्स, करेक्ट?
हाँ,
अगर 200 फार्मर्स को कॉम्पेंसेशन मिल रहा है तो उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? उनको कई और जगह मिल रहा है या कॉम्पेंसेशन मिल रहा है तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है उसमें?
प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं है भाई, वो फसल का जमीन है। हम कह रहे हैं कि आर्मी कैंप बने, मेरा देश का आन बान शान है, मेरा भी आर्मी है, मुझे सुरक्षा और मिलेगा। हम चाहते हैं कि बने, 2-4 किलोमीटर आगे पीछे बने, ताकि जो फसल का जमीन है वो बच जाए।
नहीं, आपको भी पता है कि ये कितना क्रिटिकल जगह है, चिकन स्नेक और सिलीगुड़ी कॉरिडोर जो है। तौसीफ जी, अब एक और बार बातचीत करेंगे आपके साथ। आई हैव टू टेक अ ब्रेक नाउ, we'll speak one second, we'll try and get you live. He was supposed to join us live, but for some reason he's not joined us live. He was on the phone line. We'll take a break at this point, but we're coming back with the trending at 7:13. That's coming up next. But at 9 p.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big investigation with Arnab. A very, very hard-hitting investigation at 9 p.m. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
Spirit of Christmas revives in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, as fragile peace remains in Gaza. Also, we bring you how the fringe groups have attacked festivities in several Indian cities. We get you the reaction of Rohit Sharma as he is trolled with a vada pav offer at the stadium. All that and more on Trending with me, Rakshita, at 7:30 p.m.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
We just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts going on. As we were telling you, usually for the limestone mining, the acceptable range of the blast is around 1 meter. And that won't be so harsh that we could feel this entire mountain, feel shake. Yes, definitely. And the kind of, because for cement mining, they need a blast of a larger range of something around 50 meters or 60 meters, and when that happens, we were not able to show you, but because that is very frequent between 2 to 3 p.m. we'll try to get that on camera for you guys. But while I was speaking to you, I could feel this mountain shake. So that is the range, and all of this is illegal, Shivam. All of this, the range of those blasts which is used in those mining, the kind of trucks that you see on the other end, which are carrying those residual pebbles, those are also they are not legally allowed to sell those. But they're not only doing illegal work, they're also making double profit out of whatever is left here. They're making profit illegally out of the Aravalli hills, the lungs of the Delhi NCR, the home for several hundreds of people, wildlife, and so much more. As we know that recently the Supreme Court has accepted the new definition of the Aravalli range, where any mountain which is under the height of 100 meters will not be considered as a part of Aravalli range. Now, what will be the repercussions of it? Any mountain which is not considered a part of Aravalli range will be open to construction, will be open to mining, and this Aravalli range, which is more than 2.5 billion years old, also the lungs of the Delhi NCR, protects Delhi NCR from heat wave, from dust, and from letting the situation get even worse, which already is in Delhi NCR with the pollution. We are showing you something which spans far before this entire decision, which is of a time when this decision was nowhere to be seen, which was not expected. But clearly this was expected by the authorities, because we are showing you the ranges. Let us make you understand. Now, as you see on the other end, that is a mountain in another village, and according to the locals here, this mountain that where you can see me standing was also of the same height.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड भी, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Shouted another round as he rammed into 8 people.
Another round! Another round! Another round!
Vadodara killer driver now granted bail. Is justice only for the super rich? Arnab talks about it at 8 p.m.
From your smartphone to the smart television, the trending stories are always breaking the internet. And tonight, we wish you a Merry Christmas and we present to you a lineup of stories that's viral and trending on the internet. We begin with a glimpse of the Christmas festivities from across the globe. Along the way, how it is being celebrated. For some, this festival is marking hope as they anticipate an easing into peaceful times here on, amid global tensions that have escalated and have been simmering for quite some time. Next up, we also show that how the fringe groups have been spoiling the festive spirit in several Indian cities. Groups have gone about breaking down any signs of Christmas celebrations in at least 3 states. And lastly, we also show you how Rohit Sharma was one of the key attractions at Vijay Hazare, and he was also offered his favorite, as it is touted to be, the Vada Pav, and his reply is going viral. We have all that and much more on Trending Tonight with me, Rakshita. And let's take a glimpse, viewers, to all the Christmas celebrations from across the globe. Christmas celebrations across the globe have been witnessed in cities lit up with lights, bringing in the merry spirit with utmost cheer, pomp and joy. We bring you first visuals from Bethlehem. As Christians believe Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and in fact, after a long time, we see the festivities return to the city in first of its 2 long years with the war in Gaza that had been dragging on. Christmas in Bethlehem has this year been till this year at least been a very somber affair without the traditional festivities and decorations and music. But this year is different. Families are flocking again to Manga Square, signaling hope about the fragile ceasefire and providing a much needed economic boost to Bethlehem as well. And residents also spoke in confidence and hope as they ring in the festival of cheer.
عيد ميلاد مجيد من بيت لحم لكل شعوب العالم. يعني احنا اليوم جاهزين لاستقبال البطرك، جاهزين لاستقبال العيد. الروح عالية جدا، الفرحة موجودة بين كل الناس في مدينة بيت لحم، وبنحب نرسل من بيت لحم رسالة لكل أهلنا في العالم إنه رسالة أمل ورسالة صمود، وكمان رسالة لكل العالم بأنه الشعب الفلسطيني محب للحياة، الشعب الفلسطيني محب للسلام.
And in fact, this festival has brought in a silver of hope for nations which have faced a difficult time in light of the global tensions that have been simmering for long. We bring you visuals from Christmas festivities in Iraq as Christians gathered in Iraq's Nineveh plains attending a mass and the Christmas mass and prayed for peace and stability. Even as the Christians here have been targeted by Islamist extremists on several occasions and have also fled the country for better economic opportunities here. But this time we see that there is the spirit of Christmas that is witnessed. There have been a lot of tensions, especially how Islamic State had in 2014 swept through northern Iraq, including traditionally Christian towns had been targeted across the Nineveh plains. And the exact number of Christians left in Iraq remains unclear, but they are thought to number several hundred thousands.
يعم السلام بالعراق خاصة وبالعالم والعنف ينتهي. هاي يعني أحسن أمنية أتمناها والخير للجميع ولعائلتي.
شعلة نجمعها من أغصان الأشجار الزيتون التي كان يصلي والتي كان البستان الذي كان فيه أشجار الزيتون الذي صلى يسوع المسيح يمد شجرة الزيتون. فهذه نجمعها ومن البساتين التي حول بغداد نجمعها ونحرقها هنا، وهذه ترمز الشعلة إلى النور والنور الذي يعني نبتهج به.
And echoing a sentiment of hope, it was Gaza. Many of the Palestinians of Gaza's tiny Christian community took to the Strip's only Catholic church to celebrate Christmas under a ceasefire for the first time in 2 years. This is from the Holy Family Church compound in Gaza City that we're showing you, which has served as a refuge for both Christians and also Muslims during the conflict, sheltering hundreds of displaced people. The parish was hit by fragments from an Israeli shell in July, killing 3 people in what Israel then called an accident and expressed regret over it. And for many displaced Palestinians sheltering at the church, a fragile sense of change is being felt.
قد يكون مختلف عن الأعوام السابقة. هذا العام يعني نحن نشعر إلى حد ما ببداية الأمن والأمان إلى حد ما، بمعنى توقف القصف أو يعني ابتعاده عن مناطقنا، وهذا مهم كثير. طوال العامين الماضيين كان أعوام كانت قاسية جدا. نحتفل على أمل ورجاء أن يكون نهاية للحرب وأن يكون هنالك قادم جميل عنوانه إعادة إعمار غزة، وأن يعود الناس النازحين في هذا المكان إلى منازل قد تكون جديدة، لأنه لا يوجد أحد في هذا المكان لديه بيت أو تبقى له بيت معظم.
And as the world all over is celebrating Christmas and bringing in the festive spirit, India also has joined in the festive spirit. But there are some who are disrupting this spirit. There is violence being reported from some of the states, at least in Chhattisgarh, Assam, Uttar Pradesh. Even in Delhi, we saw that the celebrations, the revelers were being targeted by fringe groups. It's in the name of protest. The cities have seen vandalism. You can see the visuals from violence that happened at a school in Assam, in Raipur, in Bareilly as well. This is Assam's St. Mary's School, a place meant for learning, not intimidation. St. Mary's School in Nalbari, Christmas preparations were ransacked and set on fire. Members of fringe outfits alleged storming the that they stormed the campus. They raised slogans demanding the removal of the statue of Jesus. And when the school refused, the response was vandalism. In Raipur, if you see, in Magneto Mall, Raipur, it was decked up for Christmas. It was reduced to debris. Under the cover of a Chhattisgarh Bandh, protesters stormed the mall, not to protest policy, but to destroy symbols of celebration. Christmas trees were uprooted, Santa Claus, all those figures were smashed. And festive decor, that was worth 5 lakh rupees, was destroyed. And mall management says that the loss is financial, but the damage, ladies and gentlemen, is far deeper. It also damages the spirit. Because we have several top cities, who are conducting fates and festivities. But we have some cities now like Uttar Pradesh's Bareilly that also witnessed similar incidents of hatred. People were reciting some, there was some chanting, there was sloganeering also that happened outside a church. We can just cut across to the visuals from Bareilly. But let's go on to other visuals as well. And there hasn't been any action that has been taken so far, what we know, viewers. And that's the sad part of it. So, visuals from Assam, visuals from Bareilly. Recently, there were some who are also questioned for celebrating at a market in the national capital as well. That, of course, has been going viral. And viewers, we now are going to go to the world of cricket. Indian cricketer and former star captain Rohit Sharma displayed zeal and grit like no other, as the BCCI and Indian cricket team's head coach Gautam Gambhir had cast heavy doubts on Rohit Sharma and fellow star batter Virat Kohli's form and future and involvement in the World Cup 2027. The deadly duo have let all the doubts rest as they roar back into form with their recent performances, with Kohli picking up a century after century. Rohit Sharma now sporting a new well-built physique and batting prowess at the top order. There remains no doubt on the players' spots on the team, in the team. Now, casting fans into a frenzy was also the confirmation that Virat and Rohit were to make appearances in Vijay Hazare trophies. Fans flocked to the stadium to catch a glimpse of Rohit Sharma. In fact, as the pull shot maestro went to the stadium. And what really happened in midst of this fan frenzy was a very hilarious moment. Fans in jest called out Rohit Sharma while he was on field, teasing him and subtly trolling him, asking him if he wants to have a vada pav. Now, jokes have long been made at Rohit Sharma's expense, and and also linking him with his love for vada pav. But Rohit Sharma only took this in his stride when he was given this hilarious offer. He waved in no in response and went on to score a stellar 100 as well, and more at the match. Listen in.
मगर क्या करे रोहित भाई बड़ा पाव खाओगे क्या बैग में पड़ा है स्कूल बैग में पड़ा है खाओगे क्या बड़ा पाव देख लो इधर ये रोहित भाई बड़ा पाव बैग में है क्या कट मारा मगर क्या करे रोहित भाई बड़ा पाव खाओगे क्या बैग में पड़ा है स्कूल बैग में पड़ा है खाओगे क्या बड़ा पाव देख लो इधर ये
And now let's take a quick look at the trends that are running fast on social media today. A light-hearted exchange between Haryana boxer Neeraj Kumar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going viral, leaving the netizens amused. During an interaction, Prime Minister Modi was greeted by Neeraj with a colloquial Ram Ram and Kaise Ho. That was very much in a Desi style and rooted in Haryanvi culture as well. And the moment sparked a flood of sarcastic and humorous reactions online, with users playfully associating Prime Minister Modi with Haryana's airy style and tone. Many called it wholesome and relatable. Others highlighted how such unscripted moments humanize political leadership in unexpected ways. Listen in.
राम राम हम सभी की तरफ से।
नीरज राम राम।
और कैसे हो?
मैं तेरे जैसा ही हूँ।
ठीक है जी।
अच्छा नीरज।
हाँ जी।
ये अब नीरज का नाम सुनकर के ही तुम्हें लगा होगा कि मेरा नाम नीरज है, तो मैं भी नीरज चोपड़ा बन जाऊँ।
हाँ जी। सर जी राम राम हम सभी की तरफ से।
नीरज राम राम।
और कैसे हो?
मैं तेरे जैसा ही हूँ।
ठीक है जी।
अच्छा नीरज।
A rare and heartwarming Christmas video featuring Kate Middleton and her daughter Princess Charlotte has delighted royal watchers worldwide. 10-year-old Princess joined her mother in a surprise piano duet, performing Home Sound by Erlen Cooper. Performance marked the opening of the royal holiday celebration, Royal Carols Together at Christmas. Fans praised the understated elegance of the moment, calling it a refreshing glimpse into the royal family's personal traditions and their emphasis on togetherness during the festive season. Rapper Cardi B won the internet this Christmas with her uniquely personalized celebrations for her 4 children. Instead of a single Christmas tree, Cardi set up individual themed trees for each child, from a Labubu tree for Culture to a Sonic themed tree for Wave, a Minnie Mouse tree for Blossom, and a Patriots themed tree for Baby Brim. Netizens applauded the gesture as elite parenting, praising her attention to individuality and calling it a refreshing departure from one-size-fits-all celebrations. A Christmas Eve video showing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his family grooving sparked sharp reactions online. Now, while supporters viewed it as a festive cheer, critics were quick to point out the contrast between the celebratory mood and the ongoing economic hardship faced by many Venezuelans. Social media users sarcastically remarked that it's easy to celebrate with a full table while millions struggle with food insecurity. The clip reigniting debate over leadership optics during times of national crisis.
¡Que viva el Grupo Madera!
Ahead of the launch of operations at Navi Mumbai International Airport, a grand drone show lit up the night sky, featuring 1,515 drones. The spectacle showcased coordinated visuals, including 3D lotus blooms, the airport logo, aircraft formations, and themes like Green Airport and the Rise of India. The event symbolized innovation and ambition, marking a significant milestone in India's aviation infrastructure, while turning the airport's opening into a visual celebration of progress. Formula One wished fans a Merry Christmas with a festive post that quickly gained traction worldwide. Fans responded enthusiastically, flooding the comments with tributes, calling it the best grid on earth. The post reflected F1's global appeal, Formula One's global appeal, and its ability to engage fans beyond the racetrack, reinforcing the sport's growing cultural presence and its tight-knit international community, even during the off-season. Veteran American actor and improvisational comedian Pat Finn died at the age of 60 after battling cancer. Known for his memorable appearances in iconic shows such as Friends, Seinfeld, and The Middle and that 70s show, Finn was celebrated for his comic timing and warmth. His family describes him as someone who lived with joy and exuberance. Tributes pouring in. Global action icon Jackie Chan added cinematic flair to the Olympic torch relay as he carried the flame through the ancient ruins of Pompeii. with Mount Vesuvius standing tall in the backdrop. The relay also traced the breathtaking Amalfi Coast, blending history, sport and spectacle. The torch relay will span 12,000 kilometers, passing through all 110 Italian provinces before culminating at Milan's San Siro Stadium for the opening ceremony on the 6th of February. And we now move on to more news that have been making headlines today. Delivery and gig workers associated with major e-commerce and food delivery platforms, fast delivery platforms, had a quick commerce platform announced all India strike due for today, that is Christmas, and on New Year's Eve, that is 31st December as well. Now, what are the avenues included? Platforms such as Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, Blinkit, Amazon and Flipkart. And amid the festive season, even hearing of the strike of as many platforms has caused concern to many. And it makes one wonder why this protest. Now, this as the Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers and the Telangana Gig and Platform Workers Union called the strike to protest over deteriorating working conditions. They also raised concerns over wages, safety, job security and social protection. Delivery workers allege they continue to face long working hours, declining earnings, unsafe delivery targets, arbitrary account deactivations and lack of welfare benefits, particularly during peak demand periods and festivals. And viewers, now we show, as we come to a close, with a glimpse, we leave you with a glimpse into the demonstrations of Indian Army's strength in its valiant actions and bravery. Operation Sindoor exemplified the Indian Army's resolve, precision and tech-driven superiority. Now, this comes as Indian Army calls upon all of us to witness this tech-enabled might at Army Day Parade 2026 in Jaipur, where niche technologies and next-gen capabilities for tomorrow's battlefield will march with pride. Mark your calendars. The date is 15th of January at the Mahal Road in Jaipur, and this is the video that has been released by the Indian Army. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back with the Super Prime Time debate with Arnab Goswami.
By Century Ply Club Prime, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आरप्योर मसाला।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
we just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts going on. As we were telling you, usually for the limestone mining, the acceptable range of the blast is around 1 meter. And that won't be so harsh that we could feel this entire mountain, feel shake. Yes, definitely. And the kind of, because for cement mining, they need a blast of a larger range of something around 50 meters or 60 meters. And when that
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिप।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia. We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
Putin squarely blamed Kyiv for the failure of peace negotiations, accusing Ukraine's leadership of refusing dialogue.
Statements from Zelensky that he is not prepared to discuss territory issues. At the moment, we don't see their readiness. I would like to remind where it all began.
Rejecting allegations against Russia, Putin claimed Moscow did not start the war. Putin blames roots of Ukraine conflict lie in 2014 anti-constitutional coup.
We did not start this war. This war began as a result of the anti-constitutional military coup in 2014 and then commencement of the military action against its own citizens in the southeast of Ukraine.
Despite the tough stand, Putin said Russia remains open to dialogue and peaceful resolution.
We also would very much like to live in peace next year, getting rid of military conflicts, and I reiterate, we actually would very much like to resolve all contentious issues by way of talks. President Trump is taking serious efforts to conclude this conflict, put an end to this conflict, and I said on many occasions that he is quite sincere in this undertaking. And moreover, during the meeting with President Trump in Anchorage,
He shouted another round, as he rammed into 8 people.
Another round! Another round! Another round!
Vadodara killer driver now granted bail. Is justice only for the super rich? Arnab talks about it at 8 p.m. Sengar rape survivors fight continues after 8 years. Vadodara killer driver who wanted another round gets bail. Shaheen Malik's acid attackers acquitted by court. Courts under scrutiny at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Sengar rape survivors fight continues after 8 years. Vadodara killer driver who wanted another round gets bail. Shaheen Malik's acid attackers acquitted by court. Courts under scrutiny at 8:30 p.m. tonight.
I think when you're an open person, जब हम कहते हैं जो कुछ भी हो जाए हम ये कहेंगे हम एक थे, एक हैं, एक हमेशा रहेंगे भारत.
Sengar rape survivors fight continues after 8 years. Vadodara killer driver who wanted another round gets bail. Shaheen Malik's acid attackers acquitted by court. Courts under scrutiny at 8:30 p.m. tonight.
Truly, music belongs to everybody. And there is no barrier of caste, color, creed, language, gender, age, sex, nothing. Nothing at all. Which is why the old songs still come back as classics and the new ones are making their way over there.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, the raging debate about why only the super rich in this country seem to be getting justice. Following 8:30 p.m. tonight, why people feel the courts of the country, the judiciary of the country must come under public scrutiny. And at 9 p.m. tonight, an Aravalli sting, a blatant open violations of everything the central government is promising. We'll expose everything at 9 o'clock tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, why do I ask questions? Why did I grill the person who till recently was Chief Justice of India to a point where I felt he started feeling uncomfortable? Let me tell you, viewers, I don't feel good putting an ex-Chief Justice of India on the mat, but I'm compelled to. After all, he was the Chief Justice of India. But he must also understand, and the judiciary of this country needs to understand, that justice is not done in a vacuum. The judiciary in this country must understand that people are putting it under scrutiny. And several decisions of the judiciary have been extremely, not controversial, but questionable of late. The judiciary must understand that, yes, they have the right to bring in a lot of subjectivity into their decisions, but sometimes when they themselves cannot answer in a convincing way, someone needs to ask. If I don't ask, if Republic don't ask, doesn't ask, who will? Who will in this country? Viewers, we must be very careful of an understanding between the executive and the judiciary. A battle of turf between the judiciary and the executive, in which the people are not given a stake. It seems to be a narrow definitional fight for turf between powerful politicians and powerful judiciary. And in that process, ladies and gentlemen, you, the people, are set aside. How many cases are there as of now? Let me tell you, this is what the judiciary must think: 4.5 crore cases pending. Today, this massive backlog, 45 to 50 million cases pending, is a black spot on the judiciary, including appellate court, Supreme Court, High Court, lower court. What's going on in this country? And then the judges speak of accountability. I asked them tonight, yes, you have 5 crore cases pending. You will give multiple reasons why so many cases are pending. But I'll tell you which cases are not pending, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court says of accountability that India cannot have two parallel legal systems. One for the rich and resourceful and those who wield power, and the other for small men without resources, without capabilities to gain justice. I'm quoting the courts to the courts, ladies and gentlemen. The courts are aware of the dangers. When people begin to feel there are two parallel systems of justice, one for the rich, the powerful, the connected, the politicians, those who can buy those expensive advocates, and the others who get crushed by the system itself. Ladies and gentlemen, case after case after case in this country, the system of justice is failing the poor people of India, the vulnerable, the middle class, and the underprivileged sections of our society. 5 cases I want to start by talking about tonight. 1, the 23-year-old super rich brat Rakshit Chaurasia, under the influence of drugs, THC and codeine, takes his expensive car, drives it at 140 kilometers per hour in Vadodara, mowed down 2 two-wheelers, kills 1 woman, injures 8 others, including children, and then comes out and says, I want one more round, one more round, one more round. He says, listen to this. After the crash, he says, I want one more round. Where's that audio?
Another round! Another round! Another round! Another round!
And this rich brat, the judiciary of India says, let him free. The judiciary says, oh, he's just 23-year-old, give him a chance to reform. I want to ask the judiciary, what's going on? What are you doing? It's proven he was under the influence of drugs. He's not a minor at his age. There are people who, wearing the Indian uniform, have sacrificed their lives for the nation during Kargil. But the judiciary says, give him bail. Give this super rich brat a chance to reform. Ladies and gentlemen, and let me now tell you another thing. In Pune's Kalyani Nagar, a 17-year-old drinking alcohol before getting behind the wheel of a multi-crore Porsche killed 2 young software engineers. And the court said, give him bail, let him write a 300-word essay, give him a chance to reform. And the entire evidence was tampered in that case. The judiciary says, give him a chance to reform. After all, what have they done? They've only killed people. Is that a big thing? Perhaps not for the judiciary. And then the judiciary must ask itself what its credibility will be. Where will be the credibility of the appellate judiciary of the country if a politician, after raping a 17-year-old girl, killing her father, attempting to kill her, killing 2 of her aunts, ladies and gentlemen, convicted of rape and murder, is freed under a technical reason that he has not committed aggravated assault. What aggravated assault? What technical ground is the judiciary talking about? Why is the judiciary looking like it looks for a needle in a haystack to find an argument which will allow a powerful person to get away?